service department, which is a staff. Deary Brothers Ford on Mormon Trek. Steve Anderson, Hawkeye Title and Settlement. Mike C. Keys for cars. GT Car and his crew at Supple's Building and Remodeling. Supple's Flowers, home of 1-800-800-ROSE. The Midtown Family Restaurants. Hertine and Stocker Jewelers, 101 South Dubuque Street, downtown Iowa City. Diamond Dreams Sports Academy. Senior Benefits. The Oxyoke Inn in the Amanas. Premier Automotive in North Liberty. Streets Maintenance. Jimmy Street will be back in the country, back in town on September 15th. Dr. Lance Forbes, Diamond Dental in Cedar Rapids, and Big Dog Tech Solutions. Here's Tom Suter, Pat Harty from HawkFanatic.com, and Coach Don Patterson.
All right, well, thanks, Captain. Donnie, it was kind of more of the same for the Hawkeye offense, at least. It was a competitive game like they usually are. It was a close game like they usually are. And unfortunately, the Hawkeyes came up short. Some of your thoughts on the game.
Take it away, Don.
All yours.
Well, some of our fans probably were a little bit nervous about whether or not the sun was going to come up yesterday morning, but it did. Life goes on. We got to put it behind us. One thing that comes to mind for me after a tough loss, you got to be sure it only counts as one. Only counts as one loss. You learn from it. You try to be sure you don't make the same mistake a week or two or three later, and that's kind of a good lesson for life. You have setbacks. You simply learn from them. You put them behind you, and you try to find a way to better yourself going forward. That's exactly what our team will do. That's what they'll be coached to do, and that's their mindset that they've already had for a long, long time. Those that have been here for very long have had that same mindset from one year to the next anyway. So we'll put it behind us. We'll move on. It's difficult to lose a game that you should have won. But really, when you look at the stats, it was a very even game. And in those even games, of course, it could come down just to one play. I remember as a receiver coach, quarterback receiver coach, sometimes a receiver would say, I don't know why Billy's playing ahead of me, Coach. And I might look at the stats and say, well, Billy catches the ball 96% of the time when you only catch it 92% of the time. And he might say, well, that's not very different, Coach, 96 versus 92. And I say, yes, it is different because I don't judge you by the ones you catch. I judge you by the ones you drop, and you're dropping twice as many. And when you explain it that way to them, it makes sense because one drop pass or one chip pass, in the case of the game on Saturday, could be the difference in the game.
Well, yeah, and that Iowa State guy made a great
play.
Cedar Rapids Prairie, Gabe Burkle. I don't believe Iowa offered him, but that's, Iowa does fine at tight end. Don, right about moving on, and I'm not to be a smart aleck, but it will be easier to move on when you face a team that just lost at home to Bryant. That's what you.
It was a close game, though.
27-26.
Yeah, one point.
So, yes, UMass, is this what they need, Don, this type of game, or would you like them to play a little better non-conference opponent before they head out to Rutgers for a Friday night game? Is UMass the perfect opponent for where they stand now, Iowa?
Well, after a tough loss, I'm not too concerned about how good the next opponent is because our players will take it to heart. And the example I always like to use is we had such a disappointing loss at Ohio State back in 1985. 1 week later, you remember what happened.
Yep.
It was 49-0 at the half
against a good Illinois team. It was a good Illinois team.
We were an angry football team, and we took it out on Illinois. And I'm not suggesting we have to beat Bryant by 100. That's not the point. But we simply need to take the field with a purpose, and we do need to recognize the preparation for Rutgers is a short week.
Yeah.
And it would really be helpful if we could decide the outcome of the Brighton game, the UMass game in the first half,
which I think will happen,
and then get a lot of key players out, and then have some momentum going into the road game against Rutgers.
So, Tom, I'm going to put you on the spot right
Sure.
now. How confident are you about at Rutgers?
I think we got to be able to pass the ball. I'm sorry.
Is that a way of saying I'm not real confident?
No, I'm still confident that we will win.
Because I don't think Rutgers is a great team.
No, and I've seen them play. I'm less confident maybe than I was a week ago.
Okay, that makes sense. All right, Don, well, since Tom brought up passing, that's obviously, Tom said that Iowa's got the worst offense in the history of civilization.
Of the Big Ten,
and I will say after 2 games, that's obviously small, especially since they didn't really need to pass to beat Albany. I mean, they did throw some. So, I mean, I get it. That's like throwing salt into the nasty wounds that Iowa has right now. But, Don, the names keep changing. The quarterbacks keep changing. The coordinator changes. Even the offensive style has changed in some ways. And yet, Tom, you say they make the forward pass look so
almost
difficult.
Impossible. And we all saw so much football over the weekend, and almost all those other teams make it look effortless, and we make it look almost impossible.
So, Don, how do you? I don't want to put you on the spot, but how? What's your answers, or what do you think's going on?
Well, here's the one thing that comes to mind for me. It was just a little bit annoying, and most people wouldn't even notice it, maybe, except somebody with a background in coaching. There were any number of snaps where there was confusion about where the wideouts are supposed to line up. That shouldn't happen.
Yes, I didn't notice that.
I remembered a few.
It never forced us to take a timeout or to get a delay or anything like that. But it was just, I couldn't help but notice. I went back and looked at the game a second time last night. Actually, a third time. I looked at it in real time, and then I looked at it quickly a second time. And then last night I looked at it a third time, just trying to be sure that I haven't overlooked anything that was clearly on the TV tape. And one thing I noticed as I was looking last night, I'm thinking, why are we – Mark's got one other thing to worry about. He's like a traffic cop out there on some snaps, making sure the guys get lined up in the right spot.
Okay.
And that shouldn't happen. That shouldn't be necessary for Mark to do that. So that's just a minor communication thing we got to work out. I'm not sure why we were confused. And typically it seemed like it was a case of receivers on the right side that were supposed to be over on the left side. And so you got them running across the formation to get lined up. Again, it didn't cost us a timeout or delay a game. But it's just one more thing on Mark's mind that really shouldn't be necessary to get properly aligned to start the play.
So is that coaching, Don, or is that the players not picking up on what they're supposed to do, or both?
Well, ultimately, I would say the responsibility lies with the receivers to not be misaligned. And that's correctable, of course. I'm sure we'll get that corrected. But it was just annoying for me as a coach. I'm thinking, why can't we get lined up right? Most of it seemed like it was in the first half. And I realize crowd noise has something to do with that. But you got to be really locked in, and you got to be, if you're not sure about what the call was in terms of formation, then you better check before the quarterback has to tell you to move. You better check with him and maybe have that process happen even a little bit quicker.
Phillips, of course, is in that was just his second game as a Hawkeye, and the other two, they're basically playing 3 wide receivers, right? Well, Weechin, I guess, is the fourth. And right. Jacob Gill and who's the third one that I'm not thinking? Oh, Seth Anderson.
Yeah.
So they're basically playing 4 wide receivers right now. And poor Weechin, Don, he had a rough game. He fell down on the interception near the sideline and what have you. And I still don't know. Tom, you were watching on TV. What did they say the personal foul on his kick return? Did TV give you? Obviously in the press box,
It looked to me like, and Donnie, you've seen it at an extra time, but it looked to me like Weechin just pushed him.
Pushed the guy who tackled him?
Yes.
After the play?
Yes.
Okay. Don?
That's what I saw.
To warn our players, typically the retaliator is the one that gets flagged.
Yeah.
Yep.
In other words, it's that old playground thing. He started it. Well, okay, maybe mom or dad didn't notice that he started it, and now you're the one in trouble. So same thing happens in football sometimes. Maybe there's some kind of minor offense on the part of an Iowa State player. I'm sure there was. Might have been something as simple as something he said while they were on the ground there on the sideline. But it's unusual when it happens on the first play of the game.
Yeah,
So I'm thinking, what's going on with Caden? You know, maybe he's got friends that go to Iowa State, or maybe friends on Iowa State's team that were talking smack to him during the week. But the bottom line, you got to get yourself right, and you got to be able to not be lured into that kind of penalty.
Yep.
Yeah.
Maybe they did something to start it. I don't doubt that they did, but that doesn't entitle you to respond, because the guy that responds is usually the one that gets flagged.
Yeah, and it happened in front of the Iowa bench, which was kind of strange. But they haven't figured out a way to get him loose yet in the passing attack.
Don, too, the first series was just about as bad as it could be. Start off with a penalty on the kickoff, 3 and out, and then a shanked punt by a great punter.
Yeah, and that was his only bad punt.
Yes.
But it came at a bad time.
Yes, it did. It's really amazing the way the first quarter ended. I had said going in, the only issue about taking the ball, my only concern about taking the ball, I'm glad Kirk took the ball, because that gave us a chance to have the win in the second quarter.
Mm-hmm.
And the only concern you have when you take the ball against a good team is, especially if you had trouble moving the ball the week before, or you anticipate having trouble moving it against a really stout defense. The only issue with taking the ball, of course, is what if you do go 3 and out, and then you have to punt into a wind, and now you give them a short field, and then they kick off after scoring, and now you have another long field, and then if they hold you again, now you got to punt into the wind the second time. And the fear, of course, is after 2 possessions, you're down 14-0. Well, the good news, because of our defense, we were resilient enough to only be down 6-0. We held them to field goals.
Yeah.
And it actually felt like a win. You know, I mean, you're thinking, I feel like we've gained an edge just because we've only given up 6 points.
I thought at halftime the momentum was sort of shifting to Iowa, and I felt it shifting even more in the third quarter, where I'm like, wow, I think they're going to win this game again. And yet,
absolutely true.
Don, I wanted to share. I'm looking.
It was an odd game because they clearly won the first quarter, statistically, and on the board too. We clearly won the second and third quarter. Yeah. Not by a landslide, of course, 3-0 in the third quarter, as I recall. But again, it was 3-0, and we were going into the wind in the third quarter.
And Iowa had Don Patterson running the ball in the second half, and I think that made a huge difference. And that's what I wanted to talk to you about, Don. We've got the running game. They produced 131 yards. Not great, but decent. More than what Iowa State had. They only averaged 3.4 yards per carry as a team, but that's misleading in some ways. I mean, Gronowski averaged 2.3 because he carried 16 times. We'll talk about that being probably too many. Terrell Washington carried 5 for 8. He only averaged 1.6. Xavier only averaged 3.7. Jazion Peterson averaged 5.5 yards on his carries. He had 11 carries. I think they got to play him more. Tom, do you agree?
I do, but I don't see
But we're not there every day.
No, that's right.
And they have talked about certain running backs having soft tissue injuries without being – do you think that's what's happened to Jazz? Maybe he fell behind because he was hurt, and now he's starting to reemerge like he seems to do?
Maybe so. I made this. I wrote this down in my notes as the game was playing out in real time. Patterson is our most effective running back. I said that in the third quarter. And that's nothing against the other guys.
No.
And I don't even have any problem with the mindset. Let's see who's got the hot hand, or let's give them more carries.
I like that too.
But yeah, and in this game, Jazz appeared to be the most effective running back. 1 week earlier, of course, it was Xavier. Yeah, and I would caution people, don't put 100% value on yards per attempt, because I'll give you a couple of obvious examples. On 4th and 1 or 3rd and 1, if you gain 2, then maybe that was a good run. You know, maybe that was a hard-earned 2 yards, because
that's true.
You know, the box was stacked.
That's a good point.
You still gain 2. And then on third and 10, you gain 8, except we still have to punt. Well, you know, maybe they were sitting out in the box, and it was an easier play for you to execute and gain 8 yards. But I will say, over the course of the day, it's a pretty good indicator. The better indicator than yards per attempt would be yards after contact. And I think Jazz probably won that too.
Oh, I'm sure he did. He runs really
I can't
hard.
imagine he didn't because he. One thing people have asked me, how would you characterize Jazz as a running back? I would say, well, he's very businesslike. He's no nonsense.
Yeah.
He doesn't dance around. He makes his decision on the move, and his pads are down.
They are.
And in that regard, he hardly ever gets driven back. He's always falling forward, and you like that in a back, of course. And Xavier seemed a little more timid. There was one play in particular, I can't even remember when, but I just remember thinking, I think it was in the third quarter maybe, Xavier was kind of undecided on that play, and that's not the way to make hard yards, of course. And that's his strength too, is of course being strong and being able to run through arm tackles. So 1 week earlier, it seemed like he was a more aggressive runner. And Iowa State, of course, has something to do with that. But the bottom line, you got to, there's that old adage from one of those Clint Eastwood movies, a man's got to know his limitations. And if you're that kind of back, then you play to your strengths. You got your pads down, and you make your move on the run. You're not a pretty runner, maybe. You don't dance around and shoot people out of their shoes, but you do get those hard yards, and those hard yards do make all the difference.
Assuming they get Kamari back at some point, I wonder if they would consider shifting Terrell Washington back to like a slot receiver where he's played some. Because if you got Kamari, Jazz, and Xavier down, I think that's enough. I like Terrell Washington better in space. It seems like it's harder for him to get loose as a running back. His yards, I know it's not, but his yards per carry, I think he seems like he's close to breaking something, but then it ends up not happening. But when they get Kamari back, running back to me is not a problem. Tight end is a problem now that Ostringa's out for a considerable amount of time, and the tight ends haven't really done much.
Well, when was the last time we had the worst tight ends on the field?
Well, yeah, and that's partly because Iowa State's tight ends are good, but no, Iowa's tight ends right now, especially without Ostringa, Don, that's a concern. You've coached tight ends, you've coached receivers. Are you concerned about the tight end position, or is it more that's just a product of the passing game struggling right now?
Well, there are certain. I think I mentioned this before on the air. Years and years ago, Bill Snyder came to me as a young tight end coach, and he said, Don, I'm going to lean on you now for pass offense that relates to the tight ends. You got to help me with that, and if you don't help me with that, you're not doing your job. And I said, I understand, Bill. I'll get that done. And that's one reason I think we had a good pass offense is because, I was forced to share the responsibility for developing plays that'll give the tight end a good chance to make plays. Mm-hmm. That only makes sense, right?
Yeah, you guys were ahead of your time back in the 80s too with how you used the tight ends.
We were, I think that's true, and I couldn't help but think as I saw the games on Sunday, our guy from Detroit had a nice game.
He always does.
No fan.
Florida had a good game, even though they lost. And I couldn't help but notice in the NFL highlights, Noah Fant had a touchdown.
Yeah, a touchdown, yeah. For a Cincinnati offense that only had 113 yards passing. I couldn't believe I saw that stat, and yet they still won.
Sounds like a lot.
They won. Yes, they won. Okay, so Don, Gronowski right now after 2 games. I'll tell you, he's carried the ball 27 times, which to me is too many. That's just my opinion. But I think the fact that he ran 16 times against Iowa State was because they didn't have much going in the passing game. Is that kind of the point? Go ahead.
Yeah, I don't know how many of those were designed run plays for a quarterback. Not that many. I think the week before there was a higher percentage that were called running plays with the quarterback designed to carry the ball. Mm-hmm. 16 carries for sure is too many. Let me explain why. If he had 16 rushing attempts and half of the time he was running out of bounds with the ball or going to the ground without getting hit, not so much wear and tear on those carries. But in Mark's case, Mark is a tough football player. Yeah. We all know that. Mm-hmm. And he needs to do a better job of protecting himself. And by that I just mean don't feel like you have to run through tackles on first down. You run the ball down the field. If you have a chance to gain yards, you do it, and if you can avoid big hits, you do that too. And you heard me say before, third down's a different animal.
He doesn't
now
avoid.
He became a running back.
Yep.
And, of course, that's the way Mark approaches football anyway.
Yeah.
But think of it this way. 1 out of every 4 plays, Mark took a hard hit. Now, I say that a couple of times out of 16 series. He did not take a hard hit, but in the vast majority of cases he did.
He rarely slides.
That wears on you.
Yeah.
Nobody questions Mark's toughness.
No.
And
not
Mark
at
has
all.
nothing to prove to me or anyone else, his teammates most importantly, about how tough he is. So if he can protect himself going forward on early downs, that's what he should do, of course.
Sure, no, and if you watched him at South Dakota State, he ran like a fullback. He ran between, and I think some habits are hard to break. He's 235 pounds, but there were a couple times where I wished he would have just kind of went down, but he's fighting for that extra yard because I think partly, Tom, he knows they're having so much trouble passing that he's actually convinced, I got to run, and there was a lot of that going on.
Right now, Mark's got a real burden on his plate. He just got the responsibility of moving the football. Of course, he takes that very seriously, and that's why you see him even on early downs straining for the extra yard.
So, Tom, I'm going to ask you as a casual fan, what surprises you most about the passing attack and quarterback play right now?
It just looks like Deacon Hill 2.0.
Okay, no, I get you.
McNamara 2.0.
What made you think it was going to look different?
The fact that Gronowski had thrown for 10,000 yards. Yes, I know all about the competition, but still, if you can throw for 10,000 yards,
I wrote that today.
You should be able to throw for 150 yards.
I wrote that today. Like Don, I said, if you throw for 10,000 yards at any level and win as many, that's impressive.
So obviously he knows how to throw the football. I guess then it goes back a little bit down to what you were saying last week. You do have to have somebody to throw the football to also.
Right. Let's just talk about ownership on this loss. Ownership goes all over the place.
Sure.
And Kirk would be the first to say, and Hayden used to say the same thing. After a disappointing loss, Hayden would say, I got to do a better job of coaching. And the next breath, he would say, my assistants have to do a better job of putting you guys in the best position to win. He'd say that in front of the team, just to be sure the players understood it's not all our fault.
Mm-hmm.
The coaches always share the blame. And I don't doubt for a second that our coaches now have expressed that to the players, too.
Yep.
They have to do their job better, too. And when you talk about ownership, yes, it relates to the coordinators on both sides of the ball, and not to mention the position coaches. I know what else Hayden used to say to us as coaches. Listen, if we don't have a good enough game plan yet, then you better go back and look at more video, because they got weaknesses we just haven't found them yet, and there's a lot of truth to that.
Mm-hmm.
You just keep looking under rocks, as I used to say. You're looking for something that nobody else has found.
Mm-hmm.
And the bottom line, the simple answer is you got to outwork the other coaches. And believe me, we did. There was total confidence on the part of our players and coaches that we prepared better than they did. And that's what the players deserve. They deserve the best chance to win. And I hope the coaches take that to heart, too. Because, frankly, I think the plan needs to be better. And I'm not the only one to say that. Every fan of Iowa football says that right now.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not just talking about the offense. The offense has obvious room for improvement. But that relates to the defense, too. And I don't doubt for a second that Phil Parker takes that very seriously, too. We'll continue to do our best to develop a better plan than the other team. But if you don't have enough answers yet, you sure as hell better keep working, better keep looking. I'm talking about the coaches.
Yeah, no, and I think there's a lot to worry about with this Iowa team. But I still think, and I know, Don, you'll agree with me, that the core, the substance of the team is strong. I think this team has a strong culture. I actually think the players really like Gronowski, just from what I can sense. Not saying they didn't like previous quarterbacks, but I think Gronowski has their respect, no matter how much NIL money. It seems genuine, and I think that'll help. I just, but yeah, I mean, they got to come up with a better plan. But I also think, though, they just got to play better.
They got to execute the plan. Doesn't matter how good the plan is if you don't execute it.
No. I
right?
agree. I agree with you some, but Don, like you'll say, game plans matter big time. But at some point, it comes down to the players having to make plays. Like that drop by Jacob Gill early in the game. A lot of people said that Gronowski threw the ball way too hard. Don, do you know the play I'm talking about?
Yes.
Was it thrown too hard?
Yeah, well, you've heard me say this about, let's just talk about slants as an example. One way to improve your pass offense, if you can throw passes that give the receiver a chance to run after the catch.
Yes, momentum, yeah.
Well, clearly a slant is that kind of play because you're running away from that defender that's lined up over you.
Mm-hmm.
And if we can hit you on the run, you have a chance. I mean, the slant can turn into an 80-yard play. Let's face it. Then you got to make a couple of guys miss to have that kind of yardage. But obviously, you can pick up any number of yards after the catch. So it was a key play. It was thrown with a lot of pace. But in Mark's defense, that corner was closing.
He was.
It's not like he was just wide open. It's not like
he had room to run, is what I meant. Had they ran the play and had he been able to keep his momentum, there was room for him to run because he was the guy was trailing.
I will say this. You heard me say it before. On those kind of routes where the receiver is breaking back toward the ball, if you will, slant's a pretty good example of that. If you have a chance, I'll say it this way. It's not all about velocity. It's about location.
Sure.
Now, Mark's location was really good on that throw, but the ball did get on Gill a little bit quicker than he was ready for. And the reason I bring it up that way, if you can throw it firmly and on target and on time, that's better than throwing a fastball. If you can take a little pace off the throw and make it a little more catchable, that's a good thing. You'll see the guys on Sunday doing that sometimes. Yeah. If they have to gun the ball, they gun the ball. But if they can just I'm just talking about a little pace off the ball.
Sure. Oh, no, that makes sense.
To use a baseball analogy, instead of throwing 95 miles an hour, just throw 90. Or in the case of a football, I don't know how fast the football goes. I've never measured it. But instead of throwing 65 miles an hour, just throw 60.
But
you follow me?
Yeah, and see, Don, but that's the kind.
Of course.
A little more catchable, that'll help.
But that's the kind of play that other teams do in their sleep when I'm watching on TV. I mean, even teams that aren't very, and yet with Iowa, there's always seems like so often there's one thing, either it's dropped, wrong route, ball thrown too hard. I mean, there's just something.
Or all of the above, which is the problem.
And make no mistake about it, I guarantee you Jacob takes complete ownership with that drop.
I'm sure he probably does too.
He's not assigning any blame whatsoever to Mark. Because the truth of it is that ball should have been caught.
No, you're right. You're right. No, I don't think there's a finger pointing issue. I think this team is solid, and this is typical Iowa football. It's gloom and doom. You assume, and this is where so many times in the past Kirk has righted the ship, and I think it's way too early to give up. I mean, it was Tom. You saw it was pretty depressing after. I mean, Saturday, just the fans. I mean, just how frustrated they are.
It's just because it's more of the same. And the big thing, too, and I'm going to put you both on the spot here, and please be honest. When we took the field with 1 minute and 50 seconds to go or whatever it was after they had kicked the go-ahead field goal, did you guys honestly feel that we were going to score there or that we were even going to move the football?
Well, I said no to you right away before, but then I did think about it a little bit. They do have Drew Stevens, which means they could have gotten to about the 40. I mean, they would have probably tried a 60 to 65-yard field goal to try to tie that game. So I give it a look.
But we weren't even close.
Well, no, that means they would have had to have gotten 2 or 3 first downs.
You felt pretty good?
I would say I felt good if they could get to. I'm not confident they could have gotten past midfield.
I agree with that. If they got into Drew's field goal.
But it's not like they needed to get to the 20 or 25. Right. Drew's got a really strong leg. Okay, Don, Tom's putting you on the spot.
Well, I feel a little bit like you do, Pat. In my mind, it was very realistic that we could make a couple of first downs and tie it up again.
Yeah, and when you have a kicker like that, but it just didn't.
Touchdown at that point. I'll say this. There was a time in the third quarter we took a timeout. Remember that?
Yeah, I do.
Might have been fourth quarter. I'm not sure. But I did write down at the time, timeout needed. The clock was going to catch us. And you heard me say before, you need to really value those timeouts, and we do value the timeouts. And I don't question that we should have taken it, because otherwise we would have gotten a delay. I don't remember it down.
I do, and that left them with just one timeout. And that left them with just one timeout.
Yeah, I don't. Well, let me back up. It was 3rd and 2. So we took the time out. Obviously, you don't want to 3rd and 2 to turn into 3rd and 7. So we took the time out. But I did write the note. Hope we don't need it later. And obviously, you need to really value those timeouts.
Could have used it later.
I know Coach Brazier used to laugh about it. Defense is never allowed to call a timeout. Hayden would be upset with our defense if they ever took a timeout, because Hayden placed a lot of value on those timeouts.
Mm-hmm.
And one reason we were effective with 2-minute offense so many times in all those 20 years is because we oftentimes had 3 timeouts.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. And Hayden used to he valued his timeouts, but he didn't waste them, because I remember he'd always say, you can't take them home with you. That's what he'd always say about timeouts. But he knew how to use them. But I'm with you, though, Don. I think they're going to, of course they're going to right the ship. To me, this weekend, I don't know how. I mean, if they come out and win 65-0, does that mean all their problems are fixed?
Of course.
But if they come out and Mark's still struggling to throw the ball against UMass, but they still win big,
So then are they going to run the ball 45 times again, or are they going to try to develop a passing game? We have to throw the ball.
Don't you think they're going to throw the ball more against UMass? I'm not saying that's like a practice. I don't want to disrespect any Division I football team, because even those guys on UMass were all really good high school players. But don't you think that they'll try to get this passing game going in a game that they know they're probably going to win?
Yes. Yes, I do. We need to gain confidence with how we can throw.
Mm-hmm.
And the only opportunity we have before Rutgers is UMass. So I certainly expect us to try to come out when the game's in doubt in the first half, have a good blend of run and pass.
Mm-hmm.
I expect that to happen.
Good.
Yeah, and I think it will, and I think they'll have. And then Kirk will break the record and then get beyond that. They asked Kirk about that prior to the game Saturday. You can tell he just wants it over. I mean, it's not something he likes to talk about. It's not something he promotes. But, Don, don't you think it'll help just getting that storyline done too?
Yeah, we wanted to talk about it in preparation for Rutgers. We can just move on with that. That's what Kirk would prefer. And I think you're right. Nobody's concerned about that. One of the things I appreciate so much about Kirk understands. When I went to Western, maybe I've told this story on the air, but maybe not. The very first year, the sports information guy comes in with the press guide proof, and he said, I want to get your permission for the press guide. And, of course, he had me on the cover of the press guide as a first-year coach. And I said, I don't want that. Put the players on the cover. It's not all about me. It's all about the players. And that's exactly Kirk's philosophy. It's not about him. It's about the players. Players appreciate that, I think. I think
I'm sure they do. Yeah.
Oh, my God. We've got an egocentric head football coach, and he thinks it's all about him. That's what some players in some schools think.
Mm-hmm.
But they certainly don't think that about Kirk, because Kirk understands it's not about the coaches. It's all about the players.
No, I think I agree with you on that. And, yeah, and
sure.
That's why I think so many times they've been able to right the ship. And I'll say again, and Tom and I were talking prior to coming on, 2/3 of their team is rock solid. Defense, I don't care if some people still think the defense is suspect. They allowed 238 yards on 57 plays.
Against a pretty good football team.
The defense is fine. Special teams are rock solid. They're close, but like Tom says, it's the exact same thing, though, that it looks like is going to happen. It's still too early. 2 games is still too early, but it's sure looking that way.
Well, let me ask it this way. Let's presume right now that we win on Saturday and we win at Rutgers. Now Indiana's coming to town. Here's my question to you. Would you have rather had a win over Iowa State or a win over Indiana?
Indiana.
100%.
Indiana.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
for sure.
That's all about conference race.
Exactly, and it's later in the season too. I mean, it's something close. Yeah, no, definitely Indiana.
Now Indiana will be a tough game. We all know that, but that's a winnable game, no doubt about it. Let me say it this way: would you rather play Indiana first, or you rather play Oregon first?
Indiana.
Oregon looks like a world beater, don't they? They might be. They might be the best team in the country.
They might, but okay.
So I'm glad we don't.
What's going on Don? What's going on in Oklahoma State? I mean, I know Mike Gundy.
Wow, I guess
he's 50 and now a man, or is he almost 60 and a man? Remember his quote when he got mad at the media for that?
Sure.
I'm 40. Yeah. So how does a team like Oklahoma State lose a game that decisive?
69-3.
How do you explain that?
Well, to me, that sounds like characteristics within the team. Sounds to me like a bunch of players quit. And I say that knowing how good Oregon is. Oregon's good. But, my God, they just trounced them, didn't they?
Oh, I mean, and we're talking about Oklahoma State. That's a pretty – Gundy's been there a long time, but to lose – I could never see a Kirk Ferentz coach team right now. God, to watch them lose. I mean, do you think Iowa's going to lose to Oregon 69-3?
I don't. And a fun fact is 2 teams scored more than Oregon did in the Big Ten last Saturday, and Minnesota would have, except they canceled part of the game.
Theirs was 66, right?
66, okay. But they only played a little over 3/4.
Okay, who had 70?
Ohio State.
Yeah.
And Washington.
Ohio State beat Grambling 70-0.
Nebraska had 68.
Yeah, correct me if I'm wrong. I think in the Grambling game, 10 possessions, 10 touchdowns.
I think it was. I mean, like I said, is that really a game that needs to be played?
No, of course not.
I mean, don't you think some of these games that they're scheduling now are just...
If I'm a fan, I'm thinking, what am I paying for these tickets? Because it was fun, but it wasn't fun because it was no contest.
Well, and Doug Williams isn't walking through that door anytime soon. Grambling's just not what it used to be, and even back then it would have been a mismatch. But, I mean, I don't know. But, well, let's look at the Big Ten a little bit. I mean, we've got, still, 2 games is a tiny sample size. And you said that, I got to look at, it's crazy to think that they're averaging, they got 131 passing yards in 2 games, Iowa.
Okay. Is
Yes, 100. Yeah, because Gronowski has 127, and then Hank Brown threw for 4.
Yeah.
So they have 131. You're saying the worst after 2. But what about those Oklahoma teams in like the 70s that never threw the ball?
This is Big Ten.
Oh, Big Ten. Okay, okay. History in big after 2 games. I mean, Don, I'm a believer that stat like that. Yeah, it's interesting, but 2 games is still too small of a sample size to know what's going to happen with this passing attack. I mean, what do you think?
Well, first off, talking about Saturday, I'll say it this way. If you would have told me before the game, we're going to hold Iowa State to 234 yards, I would have said we're going to win the game then.
Oh, me too.
Yeah.
Because Iowa State, they proved to be explosive against K-State. And, of course, they were up and down the field against South Dakota. But that's, I don't know. They're going to miss those 2 wide receivers.
Oh, without question.
Playing on Sunday.
You're sure right about that.
They're still a good offense. They know how to play to their strengths. It's going to be a lot more 12 personnel this year. That's okay. You put your best 12 players out. I'm sorry, your best 11 players out there. And 12's not very fair. You can't play with 12. But you know what I mean, 12 personnel.
Yes.
So, 2 of their best players are their tight ends, so they're going to have one less receiver out there. But that's the smart thing to do. You play to your strengths. And, we did a very commendable job. Think of it this way on defense. If you would have told me we're going to hold Iowa State to 1 touchdown drive, and, oh, by the way, that drive's going to be 18 yards, I would have said that's damn good defense.
It was damn good
defense.
No, yeah, the defense is even better than I thought it was going to be. I never thought Iowa State looked comfortable on offense. Did you?
No.
They never looked comfortable, Don. They couldn't get their guys in space, and they couldn't run the ball.
Yeah, and furthermore, we gave up 1 explosive play.
Yeah, just 1.
Yeah, and the bad news, we only had 1 explosive play also.
Yeah.
Theirs was actually super explosive. It was 35 yards. Ours was 22. Incidentally, one reason that 22-yarder was such a good play, think about this. On that snap, and this is not something I'm glad to see Tim doing this, he moved the launch point. You remember that?
Mm-hmm.
We took a snap and gun. We had a tight end line to that left side of the formation. We blocked the edge, and when he took the snap, immediately Mark started sprinting to the left. Remember that?
Yeah, yeah.
He threw the ball outside the pocket on that snap. To a wide open Gill, and Gill did something with it after the catch, and that's how we ended up with a gain of 22.
Yeah, no, that was a nice play. I mean, something that other teams do routinely, and Iowa does it. But no, that was a nice play. That's what you envision Mark doing for this offense?
Yeah, it didn't even look that difficult.
No.
We just rolled left and threw to a receiver that was in a soft spot in defense, and he caught it and he ran with it for a little bit.
I just thought the offense kind of took on a whole different personality when they put Patterson in, and he was pushing the pile.
Looked a little more aggressive.
It just looked more. Yeah, don't you think, Don? He just kind of ignited them all because it just seemed like things started to really come together when he was in there.
Well, I mean, this observation, correct me if I'm wrong, but late in the third quarter, that was a very quiet stadium.
Yes. Oh, I commented on that. They were worried.
And the reasons are obvious. We had momentum.
Yep.
People are going to second guess Kirk on his decision to kick the field goal to tie it up. 4th and 2, with the momentum on our side, I would have kicked the field goal too.
Okay.
I would have tied the game up because we had momentum. I know people would say, well, if we convert, then we might end up with a touchdown. My response would be, yeah, we might. But here's the other truth. If we do convert, first off, we may not convert.
Yeah.
There's no guarantee you can gain 2 yards. We all know that. And even if you convert, there's no guarantee that you want to turn around and kick a field goal 4 plays later.
No, you're right. I mean, yeah.
Because you're still not in the end zone. So I thought that was a good decision because we tied the game up. We had momentum at that moment. That's one reason we kicked it. I'll admit this: if we happen to fall on a fumble and have that great field position and was not able to move the ball on that 4th and 2 when we hadn't been moving the ball, I would have said we better go ahead and go for it because, taking a field goal, we're still going to lose because we can't move the damn ball.
Mm-hmm.
But we had been moving it, and there was no reason to believe we wouldn't move it on the next possession too.
Well, the deflected pass
was a killer.
It was a killer, but there was some narrative. Man, Iowa's got to be better when the ball's in the air. That was a fluke play.
A great play.
A great play. The guy just happened to make a great play. I don't think it's a statement of anything wrong about Iowa's defense. And I mean, Don, that was just a great play, a flukish great play.
Yeah, the irony of that. Doesn't it remind you a little bit? Remember, if you're a Pittsburgh Steelers fan, remember the immaculate reception?
Yeah, I do. I barely remember that. I was like 7 or 8. I do remember it.
Yeah, it was a ball that ended up, Franco Harris caught it on the rebound off his shoe tops and ran in for a touchdown.
Yes, he did. Yep.
Just a quirky play. But that particular play, think about this. And just last week I was saying, you know what, one thing we can do because to get the ball out so quickly with their passing game, if we can't get to him, and we didn't sack him all day either, then let's get our hands up at least. Because you heard me say a chip pass can sometimes be the difference in the game.
Yeah.
And we've always had the mindset on offense. If we tip the ball, I always remind the quarterbacks, don't throw the ball up high, because if it skips off our fingertips, it's going to end up in the wrong hands.
Yep.
That's typically what happens. My point of bringing that up, believe it or not, that play was tipped not once but twice.
Yeah.
Are you aware of that?
Yeah, right at the line of scrimmage, and then no, you're right.
I think Graves just barely got his fingertip on it, but he is signaling clearly on video. He's signaling, I tipped the ball, right? And so the ball skips off his fingertip. Then it skips off the receiver. And then, of course, Burgle makes a
diving, leaping,
with
beautiful one hand.
Yeah, I mean, he just made an incredible play. Go ahead.
Okay. Now, as a fan, and I want to see what you guys think about that too, if there is a bright side to the offense, you point to the last drive in the first half and the big, long drive at the start.
Well, they did have back-to-back drives that had 32 plays.
Yes,
combined.
16-play drives. Yes. And those 2 drives, we looked like a football team.
A football offense.
And other than that, it never.
So what was the difference on those 2 drives, Don, that were combined 32 plays?
Well, we were ahead of the chains in general.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we often had 2nd and 5, and then we had 3rd and 2, and then we converted. So that helps. You know, it's so important to stay ahead of the chains. But, you know, the bottom line, it's good and bad. If you have a 17-play drive and you're ahead by 10 points, then you really appreciate that. But if you're playing from behind or you're in a really tight game, I mean, let's face it, you appreciate the scoring drive regardless how many plays it takes. But here's the truth, and our defense thinks the same way as we might need to think on offense too. it's very difficult to engineer a 17-play drive.
Yeah.
Simply because sometimes a 5-yard penalty will kill the drive. Or one sack. You've always heard me talk about sacks being drive killers. It doesn't take much to kill a drive. A drop pass can kill a drive, right?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So, to our credit, we were efficient on most of those plays. And when we say efficient, it might just be gaining 3 on 2nd and 5. Because on 2nd and 5, you gain 3, that's a positive play. It's not the usual 4-yard standard, but you got 2 downs, you only need to gain 5. So if you gain 3, you're ahead of the curve, right?
Yeah.
Just like gaining 4 on first down. That's the typical standard. Do you make 4 yards on first down? If so, you're what we decide as the head of the chains. You know, you can deal with 2nd and 6.
Sure.
You can deal with 3rd and 3.
You got to avoid the 2nd and 9, the 2nd and 11s. And hey, I wanted to say, Don, your friend T.J. Hall is playing really good football right now. At least from what I watched Saturday, it looked like he was rarely out of position. Kirk was asked about him after the game and just spoke glowingly about him. You got to be pretty proud about that, don't you? He's turned into by far their best corner.
I'm proud of T.J. I think he did play, in my estimation, the best game he's played at Iowa.
He was all over those receivers.
It doesn't surprise me because he's a seasoned defensive back now. It doesn't mean he might not get beaten this weekend. Not likely to happen, but he knows how to play. He's a smarter player than he was in the past. He's been well coached, of course, by a great defensive back coach. He's playing with a lot of confidence. And even if he does get beat, he's going to have the mindset, I'd like to see him do it twice, you know, because I know how to play now. Deshaun is a little bit behind him, I think, right now in terms of perceived ability to play. The only reason I bring it up that way, I think they're a little more inclined to go after Deshaun right now than they are
sure, yeah.
TJ.
Yeah.
I will say, TJ's got great size, too. He's a big cornerback.
Yeah, he's got a little more height than Deshaun. That helps. And let's give Rocco credit for a really nice throw on that 35-yard.
No, you're right. No, that was a big-time throw.
Yeah, Deshaun was beaten, but it still was a nice throw. If the ball would have been a little bit underthrown, Deshaun would have been fine. He was beaten. I think that's probably their fastest receiver. I can't remember the guy's name, but he's got pretty good speed. And the nice thing about it, that only resulted in a field goal, not a touchdown. So we still were stingy as they approached the goal line and forced them into a field goal.
I'm looking at the defensive stats. I thought Carson Schar.
He had a fine game.
I thought he played a fine game. Jaden Harrell had 9 tackles. Wompka had 7. Wompka's very physical. And
Carson. Let's not forget, too, Harrell had a forced fumble, too.
He did. They're playing well.
Again, we were unlucky. There happened to be a big lineman to fall on it. But with a little bit of luck, we get the ball.
Yeah, and Kirk brought up an interesting Iowa State's turnover they caused. They scored a touchdown off it. Iowa caused a turnover. They got a field goal off it. That's a difference, of course, of 4 points. And Kirk said Kirk said that was probably the story of the game.
Yeah, you're right. Red zone scoring success is important. And I didn't bother to figure out numerically who won the red zone, but that does come to mind. They had great field position one time and took advantage of it. We had field position almost as good. We were on the 33 versus their 18 with the start of the drive, and we had to settle for a field goal.
Yeah, so, well, Don, I can't believe it's been almost
I know.
I want to talk a little bit about the Big Ten. I mean, I got home in time from Ames. I watched that Michigan State-Boston College game was a fun game to watch.
And Childs is one heck of a quarterback.
When he's playing well. When he's on.
When
now,
he's
I watched the Michigan Oklahoma game. Oklahoma's better, and I thought that quarterback they got from Washington State is really good. But Don, he takes a beating when he's a quicker, more athletic Gronowski. But I don't know if you watched it. He takes a beating when he plays.
Yeah, and of course that takes a toll on you.
Yeah.
Or another way to look at it, you might say he's so tough, and Mark is so tough. It's entirely possible Mark will make it through the season.
They very well could.
With a good bill of health. But the point is, you don't want to tempt fate. You don't want to take any more hard hits than what you need to win a football game. And in that regard, I would expect on early downs in the early stages of this game maybe Mark will decide to run out of bounds rather than take one more hit.
Yeah, maybe. Especially this weekend.
I hope so.
Yeah, especially this weekend. Now, next weekend, Rutgers game on the line. Things are all different. But I wanted to. I watched a little bit of UCLA. Oh my God, they train wreck right now, and they got beat by UNLV. And I wish Iowa was playing UCLA instead of USC this year. I mean, right. Did you have a chance to watch any of the UCLA UNLV game at all?
I did not. And you might remember that one of my old coaches is their defensive coordinator. So I thought he did a good job last year in year one as a DC. I don't know what their personnel losses are. We don't need to worry about it since we don't play them.
Yeah, no.
But I knew that UCLA is still suspect. I don't know that they're going to turn the corner this year.
I don't think they are.
No.
I don't think.
I'd much rather have a rematch against UCLA than to play SC.
Yeah, because I think SC, I've said this before, I've been a broken record. I think they're going to be better than what they were picked to do. Did they play this past weekend?
59-20 over Georgia Southern.
And they had 73 in their first
73.
game. So.
Yeah. I mean, it's not hard to imagine they got good skilled people on offense, right?
Okay, but I'll put you both on the spot. USC and Iowa State play on a neutral field. Who wins right now?
USC.
Don?
I'd say USC.
Okay.
Simply because I think they get, and I don't know much at all about USC, other than I do know they have athletes at skill positions.
Well, they got athletes, but
on both sides of the ball.
That's interesting because they were picked by the media to finish 9th in the Big Ten, but the media maybe we don't.
Well, it's early too.
It is.
A couple games. We still got a whole lot of football to play, and things are going to look a lot different, better or worse 10 weeks from
now. And
now.
I don't know if you guys saw the little blow up on the sideline in Michigan between the freshman quarterback and the transfer from Alabama. I talked to Jamie, and I knew that Jamie said it's not. He goes, stuff like this happens. He goes, did you see that, Don? That.
From Alabama, you mean?
The running back, Justice. He and Bryce Underwood, they got into it on the sideline. It was pretty heated. It was all over.
I wasn't aware of that. I saw some of the OU game, but not a lot. And it didn't shock me. Here's the only problem with the freshman quarterback.
He's a freshman quarterback.
The next, you get a defensive coordinator gets a little better idea of how to cause him problems.
Sure.
And of course, he gets better too with the experience. But the trade-off there is that maybe he gets exposed as a freshman at some point in time with a good plan, with this guy's coverage, as an example. Maybe he has a hard time reading coverage on the run, because he simply doesn't have a lot of experience doing it.
Well, and Brent Venables, Oklahoma's coach, is a defensive specialist. So, there's a reason why you don't see a lot of true freshmen dominating college football as a quarterback. And I think we saw that. It's interesting. But it sounds like he was mad. The running back was mad because Underwood threw him a pass that kind of set him up to get his head taken off instead of just throwing the ball in one of those situations. But I was told, no big deal. This stuff happens in the heat of the moment sometimes, and you just move on. And I'm sure, Don, you'd say that's what you do. You just move on.
Well, tell me the last time you saw an Iowa player arguing with another Iowa player. Doesn't happen.
I can't recall.
Yeah.
But Iowa's also never had a $10 million 5-star quarterback on its roster either, and this person, NIL change. It's a different atmosphere.
And he was right in that running back's face, man. He was.
It
was spirited.
It was spirited. Yeah, it was spirited.
Yeah, that's the kind of thing as a coach, of course, you hate to say, because honestly, I'd be willing to bet you this. If any, I don't know who you pick. I guess you pick Gil right now as our go-to receiver. If Gil gets let up because Mark threw him a pass that he really shouldn't have thrown, Gil's not going to say one word to him because he knows he didn't mean to do it on purpose.
No, that's just not a good look.
Maybe it was maybe it's the best option he had.
Mm-hmm.
And your job is to catch a ball and deal with the hard hit that follows, and never say a word about it. You don't want to ever let them know, the opposing team, ever let them know that you're getting to them. So you give me a hard hit, I'm gonna get up and act like it never happened.
That altercation, though, was so indicative of college football today. You had a 5-star, high-paid NIL superstar arguing with a guy who played at Alabama just last year, and now he's he's transferred. Now he's at Michigan. It's hard to build a steady culture when so much changes. And you're right though, and I think part of the reason with Iowa is they don't take a ton of portal guys. They kind of build the developmental program, and then they sprinkle in players and what have you, but that dynamic at Michigan is just different. You're never going to probably see that at Iowa. A $10 million five-star quarterback and a transfer from out. It's just not going to happen.
Well, I can promise you this. One of the criteria for us to recruit a guy, they make a judgment, and I guarantee you this question gets asked. If he's not a team player, we don't want him.
Sure.
It's not a,
For sure.
You know, you've heard me tell the story before. I used to tell my quarterbacks at UConn, not about you, it's not about you, it's not about you, it's not about me, not about Bob Diaco. It's all about team, and we're not going to get along unless you understand that. So it's all about the team. It's not about you.
Yep, you know, and I think that's kind of the message Kirk sends consistently. Well, let's wrap this thing up. I mean, I think we're all pretty convinced that they're going to win rather easily Saturday night.
I would believe so.
Let me give our listeners one reason for optimism.
Okay.
Let me say it this way. If you look back at Massachusetts last year, they were 2-10. They lost to Bryant with a last-minute field goal, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
By one. Incidentally, UMass missed a PAT in that game, too. Otherwise, it would have been overtime with that field goal.
They could have had more football.
But here's the rest of the story. UMass was 2-10 last year. Guess who else was 2-10 last year? Bryant was 2-10. Bryant in the FCS was 2-10.
Okay.
Bryant's not going to have a great football season. I
feel even better about Iowa's chances now, Don. I don't. Yeah, it's going to be an interesting.
Let me put it. I wish we had Bryant's schedule moving forward.
Well, I jokingly said when I heard Bryant had upset him, I said, "Is that Bear Bryant you're talking about? Who's Bryant?"
Yeah, no, it was. I knew Bryant more for basketball. I've seen them mentioned a few times in basketball. I think Iowa. I don't know if did Iowa ever play them in basketball.
Not that I recall, but that doesn't.
Well, I think you're right though. But well, listen, Donnie. I think we all agree we're going to be hopefully talking about a decisive victory next Monday, and then we get into Big Ten play, a Friday game at Rutgers. There's going to be a lot to talk about next Monday. Enjoy this nice late summer brisk weather, Donnie, and we will be in touch a week from now.
Yeah, let me remind our listeners. Think of the season as a book. We just finished chapter 2.
Yep.
We're guaranteed 12 chapters. I'm betting you we have more than 12 when all said and done.
That's exactly what Kirk's message was, what he said. He said, I just reminded the players 2 games doesn't make a season. There's 12 games, a lot left to play for. That's the best way to look at it. But great stuff as usual, Donnie. Thanks.
We appreciate it, Coach.
This team will not be known for how they start the season. They'll be known more so for how they finish it.
I agree with that.
Agreed.
Right. Thanks, Coach.
Thank you, Coach.
You bet. See ya. Bye-bye.
Well, let's pay a few bills here, and we'll be back and look at this week's games and whatever else we digress to.
1-800-800-ROSE. 1-800-800-ROSE. Your FTD florist is the only number you need to know to send flowers anywhere in the country or Canada from anywhere in the country. 1-800-800-ROSE. It's so easy. Just remember one number. 1-800-800-ROSE. Your FTD florist. 1-800-800-ROSE. Remember.
For a gift that your loved one will treasure for a lifetime, find it at our family-owned jewelry store in Iowa City, Hertine and Stocker Jewelers.
We can show you diamond engagement rings, colored stones, fashion jewelry, and watches.
Our jewelers are on site so we can design jewelry for that special person in your life.
We are Hertine and Stocker, serving Iowa City and the surrounding area for 3 generations.
Hertine and Stocker Jewelers, downtown Iowa City, and HertineandStockerJewelers.com. Ask for Willa, Terry, Tim, or Kate. One of us is always there.
Don't wait for an emergency to get a backup for your car keys. Unlike the olden days, car keys have gotten extremely complex. Mike's eKeys for Cars can generate the most technically advanced automotive keys that are on the market today. For spares and lost keys, Mike's eKeys for Cars can produce most conventional transponder, high security, and remote head keys. Mike's eKeys for Cars will keep you on the road. Call 319-330-9185 and schedule an appointment today. Don't wait until it's too late. Call 319-330-9185 today.
Hanging lights is a pain. Dealing with blown bulbs, dangerous installations, and the endless rat's nest of cords, there's got to be a better way, and now there is. Illuma Lights, permanent outdoor lighting from Big Dog Tech. Illuma Lights provides illumination for every occasion. Holiday lighting, accent lights, security, and of course, lighting for the best season, football season. The Illumilights app lets you create your own patterns with color, motion, brightness, and static control over every individual light, or use Big Dog's presets to transform your home or business. The professionally installed track system makes Illumilights LEDs virtually disappear until you turn them on. Rated at 50,000 hours, you'll enjoy stress-free convenience for years to come. No more ladders, no more hooks, no more wifey's dirty looks. That's the song you'll be singing all year long with Illumilights permanent outdoor lighting from Big Dog Tech. Find out more at BigDogTek.net or call 319-395-0800.
Hi, I'm Jim Street, owner of Streets Maintenance. As a licensed, insured, and bonded master plumber, I specialize in all plumbing repairs, including but not limited to water heater and sump pumps to toilet and faucet repairs and replacements. As an Iowa City native, I know how frustrating it can be when any part of your plumbing system breaks down. That's why I only use trusted brands and quality materials. I offer same-day, next-day service coupled with a fair price. I also offer general services to mobile homes. For more information about my business, I'm online at streetsmaintenance.com and Facebook, or give me a call at 400-4483, 400-4483.
Streets Maintenance, honest plumbing at a fair price.
On an athletic team, you need team players, good athletes, superior equipment, and the best coaches available. In real estate, you need to have a good title and settlement team at your disposal. Hi, this is Steve Anderson. Whether you're buying, selling, or refinancing, you need quality title and settlement services. Consider the team at Hawkeye Title. Give us a call at 351-8600. Hawkeye Title and Settlement, the team you love, the people you trust.
Don't let just anyone take care of your smile. At Diamond Dental, you can expect compassion, expertise, and a personalized care plan to protect your teeth for life. With more than 30 years of combined experience, Dr. Forbes and his staff are prepared to tackle even your toughest dental problems, leaving your smile healthy and sparkling. Diamond Dental offers a full range of general and cosmetic dentistry, as well as dental treatment options for snoring and sleep apnea. It's never too early to start thinking about what's best for your smile. Schedule an appointment today by calling 319-390-3703 or visiting the office at 5815 Consul Street Northeast, Suite D1 in Cedar Rapids. You can also visit DiamondDentalPC.com for more information. Dr. Forbes is a proud sponsor of the Hawkeye Wrestling Club and the Inner Circle. Let the Diamond Dental team provide superior care for your entire family.
This is Leah Pasha, and I've been saying, hit a deer, call Premier for years. But it's time for something new. It's still where you need to go for deer divots and door dings, as well as damaged dashboards. That's what my dad Nathan's driving at and dreams about. Why not say, when your car is dinged, be a deer and call Premier? I think Dad's going to love that. Premier Automotive, North Liberty's premier auto body repair shop.
Be a deer and call Premier Auto Body in North Liberty.
Diamond Dream Sports Academy, 20,000 square foot indoor facility, holds 8 batting cages, space for infield work, space for throwing and pitching and all your arm care needs. Offers private instruction, group lessons, camps and clinics, leagues, memberships. Rentals available at Diamond Dreams is open to the public.
Our top level instructors include former professional, college, and Olympic athletes. Our coaches will help these athletes achieve their full athletic potential, develop a strong work ethic, and a solid base to build. The last thing you want to do is look back and wish you had worked or played harder.
Locally owned and established in 2005, Diamond Dreams is Eastern Iowa's premier training facility. Located at 2905 Stoner Court, North Liberty. Call today and reserve your time. 319-665-2173. 319-665-2173.
When you go to a family restaurant, you want 3 things. 1, a wide selection of breakfast, lunch, and dinner items. 2, you want those selections to be affordable and delicious. And 3, you want to be treated like family. You get all 3 at the Midtown Family Restaurant. Breakfast items available anytime the doors are open. Legendary tenderloins, onion rings, and hot roast beef sandwiches. Daily specials at each location, and no matter if you're coming in solo or with a group of 20, you get the same special family treatment. The Midtown Family Restaurants at Court and Scott Streets and at the Walmart Plaza on Highway 1 West. Follow them on Facebook or at MidtownFamily.com. The family's waiting for you. GT Carr, owner of Supple's Building and Remodeling, has been offering unmatched service and quality for over 25 years. The trained professionals at Supple's Building and Remodeling will install and guarantee the products used in any job, no matter how big or small. They also stand behind their work and offer no-nonsense, exceptional customer service from design to completion and beyond. Whether it's a simple window replacement or a major house addition, you'll have the confidence that Supple's Building and Remodeling is committed to quality. Visit Supple's.net FanaticCars.net or call them today at 319-337-2246.
Hi, this is Tiffany at Senior Benefits. Are you confused with Medicare questions, anything having to do with Medicare? I take care of all Medicare customers, people under 65. I also do life insurance, long-term care, cancer insurance. I'm here to help you navigate any questions that you may be having or frustrations and anxiety that you may have with Medicare or insurance in general. Give me, Tiffany Rao, a call at 319-631-4795.
When someone is kind enough to share their time with us, we better make it worth their while.
They don't want to do the, people call it the game, right?
Patrick Gades and Terry Adams of Deary Brothers Ford talk about what here for you means to them.
You don't have to spend a half a day in our dealership to get that good competitive price. We just want to try to deliver that to you up front.
And that makes me feel good, makes me proud.
Because that's what people want. They want a fair, honest deal.
As far as a statement here for you, we want to not just say it, but live it.
Find out what it means to you at Deary Ford in Iowa City.
Football fans, this is Bill Leichtenring of the Oxyoke Inn. We are on your way to or from the game. We're ready to serve you with the same quality food and customer service you've come to trust for over 80 years. The Oxyoke Inn is serving our famous Sunday brunch buffet with lunch, dinner, banquets, and carry-out daily. From our Oxyoke family to yours, we can't wait to see you again soon in the heart of Amana.
The Oxyoke Inn.
From the Hertine and Stalker Studios in the heart of the Hawkeye Nation, this is the mighty 1630 KCJJ, Iowa City.
Hertine and Stalker Jewelers, making memories, making moments.
I'm meteorologist Mace Michaels. After the chilly temperatures as of late, warmer readings are on the way this week. Sunshine in the area today and a high in the mid to upper 70s. A partly cloudy sky tonight, falling to the mid-50s for a low. And a high for tomorrow in the mid-70s, a mostly sunny day. A chance of showers and storms tomorrow night. That's your forecast on the mighty 1630 KCJJ. Currently at 64 degrees.
KCJJ weather, brought to you by Plum Supply.
Plum Supply kitchens and baths. Your home never looks so beautiful.
Mace Michaels is coming to town.
Mace is?
Yeah. He'll be in town this week. He's going to come over to the house with the puppies. Jan wants to see
Oh,
the
good.
puppies. Yeah. So.
Good for Mace.
Yeah.
That's nice.
Yeah.
He's a good boy.
Nice Mace.
It's a good Mace.
I've never heard nice Mace, but I'm going to take your word for it that there is a nice Mace.
There is a very
Hey, he
nice
did call in and defend me on my cell phone.
Yeah.
Remember?
Yeah.
Yeah, and now I'm down to one cell phone.
Good work, you.
Take that plastic thing off of it.
I'm going to get a new one. I got to get a new. Let's don't even. We don't need to talk about my. So it's going to be interesting though when my bill comes up to make sure I get that $50 credit because I'm only going to pay like $90 for the bill. And with Verizon, if you're late on if you don't pay the bill, you're going to start. Hey, you didn't pay the. And so maybe that'll give me something else to fight with them about.
Hello.
Hey. I was surprised the coach didn't mention, maybe I missed it, but this kind of continued since offensive coordinator came after O'Keefe. Was it Davis out of Texas and Brian Ferris?
Yes.
Down, 3rd and 4. We run the pattern at yard short. We lost us 2 first downs Saturday.
Well, yeah, they had the 3rd and 7 early in the second quarter, and they did the down and out to Jacob Gill. He got pushed out of bounds. I tweeted right after that is so typical.
Yep.
Yeah, and that was a play. I don't understand why they don't go to the. I don't know.
I mean, that happens to a lot of other teams.
It does,
too,
but not as. It doesn't seem like it happens as much to Iowa. And now, in fairness, I like Ken O'Keefe, but fans wanted him gone in 2009, 10.
Desperate.
They wanted him gone too. They were sick of him when he left in 2011.
No, it really started after him. That Davis is when we did that continually.
Well, yeah, no, it happened because Davis was big on the horizontal stuff because I don't think Davis trusted his personnel here.
Well, and he did go 12-0 in the regular season. Let's not forget that.
But the one constant, it's frustrating. They do seem to do a ton of underneath safe routes because they just don't seem to have the ability to get guys open on explosive seam routes. It just doesn't happen.
No.
Yeah, and those are short patterns, so it's not like
they're
the
safe.
quarterback was under duress yet. It takes 2-3 seconds. They just need one more step, and they have it. I noticed it happened at least twice.
Yeah. So
I saw him too.
But yeah, it's mostly just underneath routes that are safe, and that's why the tight ends have been so heavily involved before, because tight ends usually catch shorter, safer passes.
And they can get the yak.
Yeah, but right now their tight ends really aren't even that involved. So we'll see.
Yeah, it's really killing us not having tight ends. I think we would have won the game if that was a difficult pass. It was thrown behind Gill on our second to last drive, I guess you'd call it. It's been a big gain, and we've been down in field goal range. I think that might have done it.
So you're saying you think we would have won the game if Ostringa wouldn't have gotten hurt? Is that
probably, yeah, maybe.
Yeah, it's hard to say.
One reason Iowa State didn't have many yards, obviously, is we had two extremely long. The best, as they say, the best defense is keep the other team off the field.
Yeah,
so that really limited their number of drives.
It sure did.
No, Iowa's defense did fine. They played well enough to win the game.
They did.
Yeah.
Yeah. You only give up that many points. You should. They did their job.
Special teams, kickers. Now the return game really never got going, and I mean Weechin made that decision to field that punt that ended up getting tackled at the 5. Weechin had a tough game, and he'll bounce back. He's a veteran, but he had a tough game.
Yeah, they showed the replay. His helmet got pushed down on the ground, and then he retaliated.
Yeah, like Don said, it's usually the second guy who retaliates.
Yeah. Okay.
All right.
Thank you.
Yep.
I'm not saying he wasn't justified in reacting, but it cost us.
Yeah, it just kind of deflated. It just didn't give them any momentum early.
Nope.
And so, it was not a smart play. And where he fell down, that just happens. I mean, it just fell down. But
I don't blame him for that.
And that Iowa State guy made a nice catch on that. He made a nice catch on that ball. I mean, that ball was thrown hard, low to the ground. He caught it, and they were able to convert that into a touchdown. But no, I mean, Rocco Beck never really got on track. He didn't. He threw for 134 yards, 18 completions, didn't average many yards. I mean, let's see. I've got this. Let's see what Iowa State. Their running backs. Let's see, Iowa State's running back, Sama had 47, Hansen 46. They ran for 104 yards. They averaged 3.5 yards a carry.
Yeah, that's
he
not
completed
great.
18 of 27 for 133 yards. His longest was 35. No sacks, though. They didn't get much pressure on him, and he's good at avoiding sacks, too.
Yes.
He can extend plays. And let's see, Gronowski, 13 of 24, 1 interception. 13 of 24, that is not a good percent. When you're barely over 500, that's in this day and age, that's just not good offense, obviously.
Well, but it's even worse when you look at the yardage.
And he was sacked 3 times, twice on the last drive. Yeah, then take out that 22-yarder, so his other 12 passes gained 61 yards. So what's 6? That's like
3 yards.
The 4. No, 5, wouldn't that be 12? 12 times 5 is 6. It's like 5 yards.
Well, it's still not very good.
No, 5 yards of reception is not winning football.
No.
But I think, had you told me that Iowa was going to run for 131 and hold them to 238, I'm like, they're going to win the game.
Yeah.
And let's see, turnovers, they both kind of canceled each other out. Iowa did have 4 penalties, which is uncharacteristic, but Iowa State had 5.
Yeah.
And I thought there were a couple calls that could have gone Iowa State's way that went Iowa's way.
Yes,
and Iowa
sure.
they just didn't seize on any of the momentum.
No. I mean, as we said when we're talking to Don, there were two drives that you can feel real good about the Hawkeyes. And other than that, no.
But in those 2 drives, passing still wasn't much.
No, it wasn't.
It wasn't much. But like I said, I liked the spark that Patterson gave them. Patterson, it's easy to overlook in the first game. He played until the fourth quarter and still think he ran for almost 50 yards in the fourth quarter. He just, to me, right now looks like their best option. Now, when Moulton comes back, of course, he was starting for a reason. But I think we'll start seeing a lot more of Patterson. I think he's earned the right to play more, and I think he will. You notice he was the guy they pretty much went to in the second half.
Yeah.
And he just ran really hard. And it just seemed like the offense kind of was energized by his presence.
They were.
And
it wasn't enough. But
no, I'm a little concerned. Tight end right now.
We're not very good.
Well, there's not a lot of depth either.
And Stringa's hurt.
But if Stringa's hurt, but you got Ortworth. You
had
got
a big drop.
He did have a big drop because there was room to run.
There was.
What's the guy, Von Hami? He's the walk-on scholarship now. But you look, I mean, Johnny Pascuzzi scored a touchdown for Tulane. His dad texted me a video of Johnny scoring a touchdown. They've lost a lot of tight ends to the portal recently, and so now
it's showing.
So now the tight ends, other than Ortworth, who's basically been a second, third, they don't have a tight end with any experience right now.
No.
And that, to me, is a problem because a tight end is often that safety valve for a quarterback who's trying to figure out how to make the passing offense better.
And what we have, I mean, Ortworth's had a few good catches in his career.
But that's about it. He's never been the guy.
And Ostrenga has never quite elevated to the level
But
of
Tom,
some
he's
of our
been
other.
hurt a lot.
He has.
Ostrenga was hurt a lot last year, and Kirk said it's not good. He's going to be out for a while.
Yeah.
That's what he said after
So
Saturday.
someone's going to have to step up, but they're not yet.
Not yet. I still say it's way too early to form any types of conclusions, but I think we've seen enough to say, hey, the passing game still sucks.
Well, I think that is obvious.
For lack of a better word. And that's kind of what I wrote. I kind of, the fact that he's got 127 passing, 44 and 83. That's his. These are Deacon Hill type numbers.
No, Deacon did
worse.
better than that.
Deacon did, yes.
These are the worst ever in the Big Ten, ever.
But there are...
after 2 games.
But there were stretches, though, where Deacon was as bad or worse than this.
Without question.
I mean, yeah, and let's say, okay.
Because Deacon couldn't run.
Yeah, and see, Gronowski, I think, has given up some passing yards because of running.
Yes.
Because if you throw in Gronowski's 39 and 37, what is that? How many? That's 7. How much is that?
69, 76.
76. That you add that in, and it's not the worst.
Well, it puts him 20 yards ahead of Cade, the Northwestern quarterback. Cade.
Who? Preston Stone?
Oh, no. No. The guy that had the worst.
Oh, the guy that had the worst.
Coulter. Kane Coulter.
Kane Coulter. Okay. So, yeah, I mean, it's just, like I said, though, I think stats after 2 games are kind of silly, other than the numbers, what they say themselves. Oh, it's the worst in the history of the Big Ten after 2 games. One of the games they barely had him throw because it was Albany. I mean.
Hello.
Hey, Tom, I always think of you whenever we're watching the game, like, why do we make the passing game look so hard? And I'm beginning to wonder, do you think it's the wide receivers that we just aren't able to get the athletes or have the coaching?
Well, that's been part of it, but we thought that the wide receivers were better this year, but Bowie he's hurt. Vanderzee's hurt. Those are 2 pieces. And I'm not saying they don't have any big wide receivers at all right now. All their wide receivers now are small. I just think it's the whole function of the passing game. It's not one position more than the other. It's just everything seems to be feeding off each other negatively.
Nothing's clicking with it, and we have no go-to receivers except for maybe Jacob Gill.
The pass blocking's okay.
Pass blocking is good.
I was amazed at how much time he had back there a couple of times.
Well, there's a reason for that. They play a 3. Iowa State plays they play a 3-4-5 defense, or what is it? No, a 3-3-5 defense. I had to get it to add. But, yeah, I mean, Iowa State multiple times would have 6, 7 people flooding the passing zones. There were not many people open, and that's partly why he ran 16 times. But I've seen Iowa State flood the passing zones against other teams, and receivers still manage to get open enough
make big plays.
To throw for 150. I'm not asking for Iowa to pass for 300. I'm asking for Iowa to pass for 125 to 150, which is nothing in this day and age.
Okay, thanks, gentlemen.
Yeah.
Great show. As always.
But I'm kind of canceling out the Albany game because, I mean, what did he throw, 15 times? I think he threw 15 times, completed 8. He did complete 6 of the last 7. But we'll see. Now, if they come out Saturday and let's say he throws 25 times and completes like 13 for like 100, and it still looks rough, then I'm going to be really, really worried. They need to come out and make it look somewhat easy to pass against this team because this team is not very good.
And we didn't against Albany. So 44 yards against Albany, right?
48.
48, okay. And how many completions?
He had 8 of 15. He at one point
6 yards a crack.
He completed 6 of his last 7 passes against Albany. So what was he going into the he had? So he was 2 of 8 to start the game against Albany.
Yeah.
But then they just gave up on the pass. They're like, oh God, we can just run. And we're going to run, and they just basically gave up on the pass. But I mean, are we going to go another season where the quarterback throwing for 200 yards in a game is just unheard of? I just don't think that can happen. I think it's going to really catch up to him this year. That's
okay. 300, no chance.
No chance, no
whatsoever. 200, against the teams we're going to be playing.
Cade threw for 258 against one team. I can't remember who it was.
It was against the Western Illinois, or the second Northern Illinois second game.
Yeah, he threw for 258. That was his best. I don't think he ever really came close to touch it. Petrus didn't do a ton of 200 games. He
Southern
did a few.
Illinois, I can't remember.
It wasn't Southern. But Petrus didn't consistently throw for over 200, but he did at least do it. Right now, Iowa seems so far removed from a 200-yard passing game.
Yeah, it does.
I mean, I still say it's better than Cade because, obviously, like you said, if you throw in Mark's rushing yards, he's got more yards, but it ain't much better than Cade right now.
No, it isn't. And, no, it's more of the same.
And the only way it's better is for Mark to just take a beating. I mean, Mark took a beating Saturday in that game. He took a beating. There was one time where it looked like he was trying to go down, but he didn't.
Yeah, I thought he was going to get hurt.
And he didn't really go down the right way. That left the D-back open to hit him because the D-back, in fairness, didn't know what he was going to do. And it looked like Mark took a huge shot at him. He got up. He's a tough kid. But he just did not look comfortable giving up on the run because, like I said, when I watched him at South Dakota, it was almost like he was a fullback. They would just run him into the center of the pile, and he would pile drive behind a really good offensive line. Next thing you know, it's 2nd and 3. He's just gained 7 yards like a fullback.
Well,
he's not going to be able to do that at Iowa.
And he was more athletic than most of the players.
And that's not the case
against,
now.
And it's not the case anymore.
No, that's not the case now. But, yeah, when I looked and saw that he had ran the ball 16 times, I mean, he's ran the ball 27 times in 2 games.
And the thing that scares me the most, well, no, doesn't scare me the most, but Wisconsin might be able to play a little bit against Alabama, maybe. Alabama doesn't look very good so far.
No, they don't, and I don't think Wisconsin's very good.
Well, I don't either.
I think that's maybe a 7-5, 8-4 team versus a 6-6, 7-5 team. Yeah. I can see Alabama losing 3-4 games this year the way they're playing now.
Hello.
Hey, good morning, guys.
Hey. Morning.
Not to be a Debbie Downer,
but
apologize, Debbie. Here we go again with these quarterbacks. McNamara, now this guy coming in for 1 year, and just don't have the time to put things together. The only guy that ever happened to was a very good quarterback. I don't know why he didn't start his junior year. Must have been something in practice.
Brad Banks is where you're going.
Yeah,
exactly. And Brad himself said he was not ready as a junior. He was not.
Okay.
Didn't know
I think you guys touched on that.
Yes.
I can accept that, but
yeah.
My favorite quarterback was Matt.
Rogers.
Rogers. Thank you.
You liked him so much you couldn't remember his name.
Hey, now.
I'm kidding. I'm an old man too.
I'm an old man trying to retire. I'm
an old man too.
I'm just tired.
I forgot to call into you guys on Saturday, Captain. Did you take it personally?
I did.
Yeah.
I thought that's son of a bitch.
What else was I got? There you go again. What else was I got?
Okay, well, you were going to
anyway,
say it's only 2 games and that Iowa still has a great chance for great things.
The kid that came over from Northwestern that played.
Jacob Gill?
Jacob Gill.
No.
Oh, Brendan Sullivan?
Sullivan. Thank you. Yeah.
What about him?
He went where?
He's at Tulane. He's the backup quarterback at Tulane.
I thought he did some positive stuff here, and he could run, and
yeah, he's just like Gronowski. He could run, but he hasn't shown. He never showed.
Got hurt.
And he got hurt, and he never showed that he couldn't really throw.
Okay, that just shows you how much I'm paying attention. But anyway, that's why I listen to you guys.
All right, well, thank you.
We appreciate your call.
All right, we appreciate it.
We do. I mean, sure, we do.
We appreciate it.
Yeah,
we do.
Yeah, I appreciate it. I appreciate his call and the fact that he listens. I just thought that his favorite quarterback that he should remember his last name. But
I think
again,
that's fair enough.
I'm not good at names either. I mean, I'm terrible at names.
I'm generally pretty
Horrible
good.
What's my name?
Horrible. You're Captain Steve. Horrible at names. And that's straight from my dad. But my dad, I mean, I told you that it didn't matter what he called people, but if you didn't remember his name, damn it, you were disrespecting him.
Hello.
Hey, guys, you know what I hope doesn't happen is I hope this doesn't end like the 2008 season.
2008?
You remember that?
No, you're talking 2010.
Was great.
2008 was great. They won 6 of their last 7. And then
we beat
Sean
Wisconsin.
Green.
That's what I mean.
We beat Wisconsin at home.
And Sean Green won the Doak Walker Award.
What I'm getting at is, I mean, it took a while with the, I think was until the Pittsburgh game with the quarterback stuff, and then
Yeah, but okay, but that's because they ended up.
And they figured it out.
Well, that's because they ended up having a core. Stanzi was better than Christensen. I'm not. So you're telling me Hank Brown or somebody else is better than Gronowski already? Are we at that narrative? Is that what you're saying?
No, I'm not at that narrative. What I'm saying is whatever's going on, like the hesitation, like hopefully by game 4 after, and we're not 2-2 or 3-3 or whatever. I'm just saying that Gronowski, whatever clicks, and he's seeing things, he's reading the offense, he's doing what he's, but it's by that time you already have 3 or 4 losses, and you're.
Well, yeah,
and then at the end of the year, the narrative is, oh man, you didn't want to play Iowa. They got it going. They just took them too long.
Yeah, 2008 though was different because they were shuffling back and forth the first 4 games between Stanzi and Christensen.
And then Sean Green happened.
Sean Green happened, and they settled on Stanzi, and that's when things started going forward. I don't think, and maybe Kirk's not going to give on Mark Gronowski after 4 games. They can't afford to.
No.
And I'm not saying that's what you're suggesting. I just was surprised when you said, to me, I'm worried about this being 2010, even though Stanzi was more like 2010, but it's still early.
Yeah,
it's still way too early.
My thing is if they lose to like Rutgers and Indiana, and then I'm not even talking about quarterbacks. I'm just saying like after like the Indiana game, let's say they lose that one, and then all of a sudden they get hotter than hell or figure it out and run through it, how they did at the end of the year that year, and then it's like, well,
wouldn't that require beating USC, Penn State, and Oregon?
And Oregon.
Yeah, and I don't think 2008.
Yeah. And winning at Nebraska and at Wisconsin.
I don't think 2008 faced
Not at all.
No, it was a different monster.
No, this is a much tougher.
If they lose those games you just said, the wheels are coming off.
That's right.
Yeah.
I just think, I don't know what the problem is, man, but it's.
Well, I do. It's their passing offense. That's the problem. The problem is their passing offense.
Yes,
that's the problem.
Yes, and it's just like basketball. It's the same old, and it's getting to that point to where, man, you don't need to watch it. You know what's going to happen, and hopefully the defense don't give up any points, and then they get put in bad positions. They can't. I don't know, man.
All right,
it's
so let me put you on the spot here. I did put Coach Patterson and Pat on the spot. Did you think Iowa was going to win the game when we had the ball with 1:50 to go?
I thought I was at the I didn't think we were going to win it in regulation. I thought somehow you were going to get in kick.
Yeah, I think a lot of people had the Drew Stevens effect.
That's what you were hoping for.
That's the best you were hoping for, yes.
We all hoped for at least that. Yep.
Well, just like when the Minnesota game, when the DeJean's punt return got called back, the game wasn't over. I mean, I didn't even have
but that one I had no confidence. No, that one I had no confidence they were going to do anything on that, and they didn't.
And they didn't.
And then wasn't it only like, I don't know, 12, 15 yards to get in range?
Yeah, but that back then,
range for a field goal then?
12 yards and 23 was like 80 yards. I mean, it just was not to be.
Yeah, it's frustrating as hell.
But it's only 2 games, and I mean, this is just Groundhog Day, isn't it?
It is, and my God, to get past the stinking ball, everyone else does.
I
don't know if it's too hard or what.
Well, it isn't anywhere else.
You think Bryant has a better passing attack than Iowa?
Well, I don't know. They scored 26.
26.
I didn't see much of it. I'll be honest with you. I was at a football game, so I was checking on a TV at a tailgate party and phone checking. But why is it so hard to just attack the middle of the field and throw the ball?
I don't know. I mean, if I had the answers, I'm sure they would have the answers. I don't know why.
I would just posit that Coach Ferentz is risk adverse, and if you throw the ball over the middle, a lot of bad things can happen.
Yeah, but
if you
man,
don't have a good receiver core and if you don't have a great quarterback.
That's not a good way to go about.
But don't you think that's
well, maybe that's
some
part
truth
of it.
to that?
I don't know. I just at this stage I don't know. It's just more of the same. The names change, and now Lester's in year 2. I mean, he made the running game better, but that's just half of his job. He's got this is on him. I mean, we were all ripping Brian Ferentz when this stuff was happening. This Saturday looked no different than Brian Ferentz.
No different.
No different at all.
Well, there's one common denominator, guys.
Yes,
well, yeah,
there is.
it's Kirk.
Yeah.
But supposedly, according to a lot of people, Kirk has given Lester free reign. He can do whatever. I've read it on other media. This is Lester's offense, and I'm like, we'll see about that. Yeah. Kirk still runs the show as he should. But all this is Lester's offense. This is flexible Kirk. This is Iowa coming into the new age. They're going to pass the ball, and it's still the same.
It doesn't look any better.
If he didn't allow his son to do it, he ain't going to allow anybody else. I mean,
well, that's not what I've read, that this is Lester's offense.
All right, man.
Well, then Lester needs to retool.
Yep. Lester, remember? And
sorry.
What do you think Ann Esther would think of this offense? She'd call this offense a chicken-eyed foo. That's what she called Fred. She called him a chicken-eyed foo.
Everything I do is Suter's
fault.
What
about good stuff that happens? Then it's your credit.
You're still waiting.
Yeah, really.
Yeah, so
I post. I'm just trying.
What'd you do? Like post a picture of your chipmunks or something, and now you're being ripped?
No, I posted. After the game, I posted your final thing, and then I said better than I thought, and I made.
Oh, because you had them losing 31-10.
Yeah, and I said I made the mistake of saying we'll be fine, and then Jason Glass posts, "We're running an offense older than you." I don't need.
I think that's actually kind of funny.
I do too, and I think he's spot on.
I think the kid was accurate, and you talk about your age a lot, and he's just throwing it right back at you. But I feel for the fans. This has got to be frustrating.
Well, look at how frustrated.
Well, he invests a lot of time and money in Hawkeye football. It's his life.
Well,
and
it's not go that far. I won't go that far, but I do enjoy it.
Yeah, maybe it's not your life,
I mean,
but
you're
it's
damn frustrated.
Well,
it's the same.
The lad, let's say, since Nate Stanley left, and believe me,
I wrote today he looks like Tom Brady.
He does, and I still vividly remember his 77-yard output against Wisconsin.
Yeah, Nate was more of a body of work. His stats are kind of like Kirk's stats in some ways. Yeah. Nate was the starter for 3 years, and there was a reason. He was their best quarterback. But Nate's problem is there were just a couple games where he was just awful, and everything around him was awful.
Yeah.
But Nate also, he threw 5 touchdowns against Ohio State, against Iowa State. He had some big moments. That looks great right now. That's how far things have fallen. Spencer was a notch below Nate. But Spencer was a definite notch above all of this.
And I think Spencer, his offensive line was never very good.
No, they have a good offensive line now.
Yeah.
And they have a good running attack right now. Right now their running attack is pretty. They're averaging over 200. If we want to do these 2-game stats and whatever, the running game's averaging over 200 yards a game right now.
Which is pretty good.
Yeah, which is pretty good. Now, of course, it's way too early because I don't think the running game is that good. But the pieces are in place for the passing game to at least be above dysfunctional. And right now, I had someone say they think dysfunctional is a little strong. It's borderline dysfunctional.
No, it's completely dysfunctional.
When you can't throw for 100 yards.
Not even very close.
Yeah, he had 83 yards, 22 on one play. And the other thing is, though, I think with Iowa State, Tom, they just kind of gave up on the pass. They're like, Mark, you're going to – he ran the ball 16 times. To me, 10 of those should have been passes.
Well, they should have been, but then if you're looking out at going through your progressions
and nobody's open,
what do you do?
I've had people tell me that people have been open, that it's not just the receiver's not open. He's not hit. He's not progressing at the right times.
And that's possible.
And I think there's a little bit of everything going on, but I think it's pretty obvious against Iowa State they kind of gave up on the pass. I mean, for him to run 16 times. Well,
I think it's fair to say that the passing attack is dysfunctional right now. I think that's absolutely fair to say.
I mean, he threw 24 and ran 16. To me, he should have thrown at least 30 to 30. But then a critic would say, why? Just have more incompletions? I mean,
Well,
I guess you could look at it both ways.
that too.
But they clearly did give up on the passing game.
Well, why would they do that?
Especially in game 2. To me, you have to fight through trial and error, and you have to persevere and keep doing it to try to maintain
I
some
agree.
semblance of balance. But they did kind of abandon them. And to be honest with you, Tom, they didn't really try to throw the ball at all against Albany. And to me, they should have, because they were going to win the game regardless. And yet they basically just said, okay, the passing
What, did we
attack.
throw one downfield pass?
Yeah, and ran the ball over. But I think their attitude was, okay, let's don't even mess with the passing much today. Let's just win this damn game, get it out of the way, and run. You know, they ran for over
Which is
300.
great,
and they
but
won.
did it-
Which
yeah.
is, but it did nothing to help the pass. To me, I think you need. And here we are questioning Kirk. I get it, but I mean, everyone. You can. It's just we're just talking. I get it, but to me, I wish they would have experimented more with the passing attack against Albany, because I think they could have done that and still won the game. Iowa State, no. And you notice they gave up on the passing attack against Iowa State. I think they did that. I'm not necessarily saying fear is the right word. I think
It
they were
isn't.
adjusting to the situation.
Well, and Kirk will tell you.
I wasn't confident in our passing
We
attack.
were giving ourselves the best chance to win the
by
game.
running
which
our
was by-
quarterback.
That's right.
And he took a beating.
Hello.
Hello. I've been watching some high school games, and I've seen some fantastic passers there, although the guys that tackle them aren't as big as in college.
I mean, yeah,
But
you got
still,
like
I keep wondering if they can catch them, what's with us?
Well, that's fair enough.
Fair enough, but there is the level of competition's a little. I mean, you got like Ernie from
Yeah, I noticed that.
Ernie from
And after
geometry
watching
chasing after the
Iowa
quarterback.
State on Saturday, how far do you think they're going to go in their conference?
Who, Iowa State?
Yeah.
I think they have a chance to win it. I mean, Big 12's not very good.
No,
No, I think they have a chance to win
I mean,
it.
look at Oklahoma State.
Yeah. No, I think they have a legitimate chance of winning it.
Yeah. I know I've been listening to a lot of Iowa State people, and as far as they're concerned, they're going to heaven. So
And they probably will. No, I think they're almost a shoe-in to win their conference if they stay healthy.
That's a big if, because they still haven't won a conference title since 1912, and Captain wasn't even in radio yet. You were 1912. What were
dabbling with?
Captain wasn't even alive then.
You were
was he?
dabbling with radio then.
Yeah.
1912 is the last time
I
was.
mean, who's gonna be their hurdles? Kansas.
They got beat by
Baylor?
Missouri, or Missouri's
Yeah,
in the
they got
SEC.
beat, right.
Yeah,
Baylor?
I was getting ready to say Missouri. Yeah, I know. There's really.
Well,
I mean,
you used to be Texas and Oklahoma, and they're gone
And
out
they're
of
gone.
that conference.
Is Cincinnati in the Big
Yes.
12 now?
No, there's nobody that's going to beat them unless they beat themselves.
Yeah.
It's
And they
just
could.
miserable. It's an easy conference. and
Arizona
it's an easy
State is
schedule.
the highest ranked team in the conference, but I we'll see. Arizona
what did
State.
they
How
do?
is Colorado ranked?
I don't think they are ranked.
They're not ranked.
They got beaten their street, but Arizona State was ranked 13th the last time I looked. So I think, and they're the defending champion, and they beat Iowa State convincingly, but they lost some key players from that.
They
team.
lost that running
backs.
back.
Cam Scattaboo.
Yeah.
I like
Scattaboo.
Scattaboo.
Yep.
Well, you think of a couple of plays here and there, and Iowa could have beaten them.
Yeah, but we didn't.
What's that thing? Ifs and ands
Yep.
and nuts and what's that saying?
Yeah,
Cap?
and all that stuff.
What's
and
that
we don't
saying,
really-
Captain?
Ifs and buts were candy and nuts.
We'd all have a Merry Christmas.
There you go. There you go.
Okay. Well, you guys have a good day.
You
All right,
too,
Corey.
Bye.
Or what's the nasty one? If my aunt had balls, she'd be
Be
my,
my
uncle.
That's my favorite one. I've used that a few times.
I haven't.
You've never heard that one?
No.
Oh, I've used that one with people.
I like that one.
You've never heard that?
No.
Yeah.
No. Hello. Hello.
Hello.
Okay. Have a good
Come
day.
on.
He's commenting on the passing
This isn't
attack.
that
and
hard.
He was raised, if you don't have anything good to say, I guess you don't say anything.
Hello.
Hey, isn't Utah in the Big 12?
Oh, that's true.
Yeah, but they're not a world beater. I mean,
No,
they're a good program.
But they are good. No, that's a good point.
Utah and Arizona State, I believe, are the two highest ranked teams in the conference.
Iowa State.
And Iowa State. Those are the three. Well, Arizona State's ranked ahead of Iowa. At least
Are
they
they?
were. They were 13th when I saw them on TV a week ago, but I don't know what's happened to them since.
Hey, Pat, I got a question, though. How often or how much does Iowa do a live practice during the week?
What do you mean a lie? Like, I don't think they hit hardly at all. Kirk said they didn't do full contact at all during. They just don't do that much anymore.
I'd love to have them, at least the second team defense, go in there and do live drills and have them get used to running and passing and all that.
Well, I'm sure they do the stuff to prepare, but I just don't think they take the risk of doing a lot of full contact because of injury. That's just the way it is now. I mean, the game has changed so much. A lot of players don't even wear knee pads anymore. You see, like, wide receivers wearing, like, shorts. They don't even wear the full uniform anymore. It's just a lot different. And because they're not getting hit near as much as they used to. In the old days, you'd hit every day in practice. That's just not happening anymore.
So basically, the only time he gets run and stuff like that is during the game, and not.
I guess at full speed, yeah, I would say. But rarely over the years do quarterbacks get hit in practice. It just doesn't happen. Chuck Long was not getting smacked to the ground during practice during his time at Iowa. He was wearing a red shirt, and they were leaving him alone.
All right. Thanks.
Yep.
Thanks. No, Iowa State's number is number 14 in the AP. Arizona State is not ranked.
They must have lost.
They must have, and Utah is 20th.
Yeah.
Hello.
Arizona State must have lost.
Hi. Yeah, they lost to the worst team in the SEC, Mississippi State.
Oh, that's right. They did lose to them.
More
That's
cowbell.
last week, yep.
Yeah.
More cowbell.
So before the season started, I looked at the schedule. I was figuring 6-6. You think you get the record this weekend? Do you think he'd retire if they go 6-6 or worse?
6-6. Then that's a tough question. I
don't know.
I don't know. I don't know Kirk well enough. Personally, know how if he would be like, I can't leave, I can't end this way, or this is enough. I got the record. It's time for somebody else to be the Iowa coach. I don't know. That's a tough question.
Yeah, I know.
6-6, not out of the realm of possibility.
Oh, not at all.
Not at all. Especially after losing Saturday.
Oh, we got a rough schedule.
Come on.
Yeah.
They could lose 3 at home if Indiana.
I mean, if this passing attack doesn't get any better, they're in serious trouble.
Oh, at home we have 3 teams that played in the college playoffs.
I mean, this isn't
year.
2023 where they had a terrible passing attack and still won 10 games. That ain't going to happen.
Well, and he hadn't lost to Campbell until the last 2 years, and he hadn't lost to Fleck except that crazy game with the punt return. And he never lost to Frost, but his history has been gone. And now he's starting to lose to these people. So it looks like we're slipping pretty good.
Yeah, I mean he's going to retire sooner than later. He's 70. Whether it's this year, I said at the most I would give him 3 more years under the best circumstances.
Okay, and then you can point to though that we're one of the few teams in the last that have won 8 games.
Oh yeah, there's ways to
year
sugarcoat it
for the last. We're top 5 or 6 in the country in that respect.
Yeah, there's ways to sugarcoat it too. There's ways to make it the glass half full.
Yeah, that's true. You could be Purdue, right?
Yeah.
But I think I'd like to see a younger crew come in.
More power to you. Yeah, I don't think there's anything wrong with having that opinion, and I don't think there's anything wrong with wanting to stick with Kirk too. I mean, a fan has a right to feel the way they want to feel. But if a fan wants to say they want change, I've got nothing wrong with that.
Retirement.
It's going to be hard for us to. I mean, losing to Iowa State hurts, and typically it means that we're not going to have a special season. And I think it's probably especially true this year with the schedule because we're probably not going to beat Penn State, and we're probably not going to beat Oregon. I mean, right?
No,
probably not. Winning at Nebraska is going to be a problem. Wisconsin's always a problem. Minnesota put up 66
That's
points.
Going to be a problem. It's not going to be easy.
Rutgers is not a pushover. Michigan State looked pretty solid.
I do think Rutgers is one of their easier games they have left, which tells you about their schedule.
But it's on the road.
But it's on the road, yes. And it's Friday night, long ways away. Kirk does not want to be playing a game at Rutgers on Friday night.
No.
Well, there you go.
So
after this week, they're all tough.
Yep.
And last week was tough. We're climbing a mountain this year, and I'm not sure that we'll see how good the Sherpa is.
Well, and I think it's fair to say the talent gap between Iowa and Iowa State has narrowed.
For sure.
There's not much difference in talent.
Without question.
All right. Well, thanks for the call. When I did, I wrote that they make
I have to go back and read your
they make
article.
completing a forward pass look as hard as climbing Mount Everest with a porta potty on your back. That's how I described their passing attack today. Do you agree?
Well, I don't know that you need the porta potty. You're
But
up
that
on a
makes
mountain.
it more. It's going to be hard enough to climb Mount Everest anyway. But if you put a porta potty on your back, it makes it even more difficult. I was trying to stress and emphasize the difficult side of it.
Well, I
You
was
get it?
just trying to figure out why you wanted the porta potty.
Because if you're out
Because
there,
if you're on a mountain, you could just let her rip.
I guess, but that's not fair to the people that live on the mountain. Hey, sorry for my poop there. I'm going to.
Well, it goes over the mountain.
You put that porta
It
potty
falls
down, you
down
do your
the
business,
mountain.
and you get it back up, and then you.
So is climbing Everest with the porta potty on your back harder than building the pyramids was? Because that was
Well,
my
which is-
analogy.
Yeah, building the
which is-
pyramids. I mean, I don't know how they did it.
Which is harder, climbing Everest with a porta potty on your back, or completing a pass?
No, that's the question. I want my readers to decide which is harder. What would you say is harder for Iowa to complete a forward, downward, vertical seam route, or climbing Mount Everest with a porta potty on your back?
Well, the porta potty puts it into uncharted territory because it's never happened.
Yeah.
So
no, you're right. A lot of people have climbed Mount
A
Everest.
lot of
but I can
people have
guarantee you,
climbed
no one has climbed it with a porta potty on their back, have they?
I'd have to check.
So
There's
I would
no
say
way.
statistically, maybe a lot more people have climbed Everest than we've completed passes in the last 6 years.
Well, there could be some truth to that. Yeah, there could be some truth to that.
And with that positive note.
But again,
two games, folks.
I'm not ready to give up.
Nope,
I'm
two
not,
games.
And I did not have. I think what happens, and we in the media are a big part of the reason. Every year we clutch on to a new. Gronowski's the new savior. They finally got it right. I read so much this. They finally got it right.
Well, maybe we did. But he hasn't shown it yet.
Lester's going to unleash the Shanahan offense, and it's just going to be joyous here. And the problem is when you do that and you build and you build and build, when it doesn't happen right away. And it's only been 2 games, but one of the games was Iowa State. That was a huge game. It's gone, lost.
It is lost.
That's lost. You can't get that back. What do you got, Captain?
There is a band called the Renajon Portable Toilet Band.
That's a way too long of a title.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can't get that on a
They
marquee.
recorded a track, Porta Potty Prank.
Okay, I don't like the name of that band.
No.
That's too long. What was it again? Say it again.
The Renajon Portable Toilet Band.
How many syllables is that? I've always thought that a band name shouldn't have more than 4 syllables.
And then there is a Porta Potty Band.
10
But
syllables.
10's too much.
Also uses the name Clown Core.
I don't mind that. Clown Core is better than the
Clown Core.
Okay, before we wrap it up here,
It's almost
okay.
11. It's almost 11.
Yeah.
Okay, then how does the narrative change if we beat UMass, go out and beat Rutgers on a Friday night, and then we have Indiana coming in the next week?
Oh, I think that will be a big time matchup. Hope will be back, even if they did it the Iowa way just to win, because that would make them 4-1,
2, 3, 3-1.
3-1, back to back wins. If they win at Rutgers, then that's when you say, oh, God, is he going to do this again? Is he going to figure out a way to get this team to win 8, 9, 10 games with this, with these
Brutal schedule.
But it will be interesting. I'm not convinced they're going to lose at home to Indiana.
No.
I'm not ready to just give up just because.
We have to be able to throw the ball.
Oh, yeah, they're not going to be able to beat Indiana throwing the ball for 60 yards.
Because you're tying your one arm behind your back if you can't throw.
And they can't give up on throwing the ball against Indiana. They're giving up on throwing the ball in these first 2 games. It'd be even worse. I'd be even more worried if, let's say, against Albany he was 13 of 33. Whatever.
Yeah.
Or let's say against Iowa State he was 13 of 30. I mean, they're not throwing. They're just. But see, that's concerning in its own way, because if they're giving up on the passing attack during the course of a game, what are fans supposed to feel?
Well, but again, Ed Kirk will tell you,
I just want to win the game.
I want to win the game, and I'm giving us the best chance to win.
And
the
I
game.
don't care that we rank.
And can we argue with that?
And Kirk would say, I don't care that we rank the lowest after 2 games because we're this close to being 2-0.
But you're not.
But they're not. But had they kept throwing the ball, my thinking is Kirk's convinced that had they just kept trying to throw against, the score would have been worse.
I think that's probably true.
I think Kirk decided run Mark, run Jazz, stay ahead of the chains. We don't need to throw. That's our best way of trying to sneak out of here with a win. So what's going to suffer? Of course, the passing stats suffer from that.
And the passing game, because it doesn't improve because you're not doing it in
You're not trying.
the game situation.
Because you're not using it, yeah. So I think that to me is as concerning as the stats itself, is the fact that they seem to, in both games, just abandon the passing attack for different reasons, of course. They knew they were never going to lose to Albany.
Yeah.
Let's just see how many yards we can get. Let's just see how many rushing yards. We'll control the clock. We'll throw every once in a while. But Iowa State, they pretty much gave up on the passing attack until they had to on the final drive. They had no other option.
Well, and
then he got sacked.
nothing.
He got sacked out of it. But it's not like those were coverage sacks.
Yes.
He had time to throw on both of them.
He did.
Yeah, and so, but yeah, it's tough, but it's 2 games, but we're in it. We're in the thick of it. Hawkeye football fans are questioning the latest quarterback purchase from the portal, questioning the play calling, and
the wide receivers,
and wondering why completing a forward pass is so hard. It's just Groundhog's Day. It's football.
It is. And if it really is Groundhog Day, then Kirk will find a way to get to 8 wins.
Yeah, 8 wins, and that will frustrate some fans
Yes,
because
it
then
will.
they'll say, well, that's not good enough to really have a great season, but it's obviously not bad enough to say that Kirk should be fired.
For sure.
Yeah, so it'll be interesting to see how this plays
Well,
out.
if we're losing to Iowa State, you got 3 of last year's college football playoff participants coming to Kinnick Stadium.
Yeah, it's going to be tough.
I don't know that we're going to be favored in
Before we go, though, I got to get your Captain. Halas and I were on our way back. We get to Marshalltown, go to Arby's.
Yeah.
And I ordered the hoagie roast beef thing. Instead, they gave me a gyro. And by the time I realized that we were already driving, we were back onto the. Would you have turned back?
How far had you gone?
Oh, we had already gotten on back onto Highway 30.
No,
and it was okay, but I don't. When you want a roast beef, you don't want a gyro.
Not at all.
And it had a bunch of that white tiki crap on it. But it just seems like
that's sour cream, isn't it?
No, it's tahini sauce.
Yeah,
it's a Greek.
I like their gyros.
I like gyros, and it was good. I just wasn't in the mood for one.
No,
I just wasn't in the mood for lamb.
The Greeks don't have it right.
Oh, I love a good gyro. A good gyro with tomatoes, and oh man, I just wasn't in the mood for one.
I thought they had good gyros. Hello.
Hey, fellas.
And it was almost $12.
How do we go from porta potties to G.G. Allen? I thought you were going to drift off there.
I never mentioned G.G. I never mentioned G.G. Allen.
No.
You did, Paul.
No, but you were thinking about it.
No.
Nobody was.
I can think about porta potties and feces without thinking.
Yourself off as Kreskin.
I mean, they've already got Bonnie Reynolds here. I don't know what.
We got Bonnie.
What do we got now, Paul?
Let's get over a Hawk hangover.
Okay.
We play not to lose. We don't play to win.
Boy, I've never heard that before. Have you heard that? No, a lot of people will agree with you, Paul. I mean, seems to be
accurate.
Yeah. I thought Iowa State was playing not to lose Saturday, too.
Maybe they were.
They're good.
Well,
yeah, they're good, but they're beatable.
If they're good, so are we.
I mean, that game was there for the taking.
If they're good, we are too, because it was.
But my take was from there that I don't think Iowa State's as good as I thought they were.
And it's my take as well.
I was not that impressed with Iowa defense.
I didn't like the play calling.
Well, I think both teams played not to lose. Both teams, I thought, played kind of paranoid on offense.
Yeah.
Paranoid. Black Sabbath.
No, we will continue to improve.
Okay.
Okay, I agree.
Is that in order?
A little more Kreskin here.
But with the schedule, it's not necessarily going to mean a lot of wins. We don't know.
Let's open the playbook.
Okay.
I think we're just at the preface.
He makes that last statement. I mean, it's easy to say open the playbook, but you still got to have the plays and the players and the.
We got to have the Jimmies and Joes. Yeah. We don't have the Jimmies.
And I will say the injuries to Bowie and Vanderzee don't help.
Not at all.
I mean they've gone from a 4 that takes them from 6 receivers they were going to use, and we've said before Vanderzee's 6'3", 6'4", Bowie's a good 6'1". Right now, every receiver they have is my height or shorter, 6 feet or shorter.
Yeah.
And Weechin is still somebody who's learning how to play receiver, but he's learning on the fly during a very tough season.
And he didn't have a good game either.
He did not. He just did not have a good game. And he's not getting open. They're not getting in the ball. I mean, I figured they'd try to – I thought they might try to do some deep routes with Weechin against Albany, and they didn't really even try.
No, they didn't.
Yeah.
No, and that's also frustrating.
That's, to me, the biggest story is how...
Great comment. G.G. Allen never had an edge show like Iowa's offense.
Wow.
Well, that's mean.
That's harsh.
That is mean. I think there were times where Gigi performed as bad or worse than the Iowa passing attack.
I think probably frequently.
Frequently.
I think he had a good offense.
He was offensive.
He was definitely offensive. Yeah.
Let's wrap.
All right. All right. Well, thanks for listening, everybody. All said and done. Go Hawks. Go Fever. Molly Suter is next. HawkFanatic.com. Check it out. It's free.
This is